How's it going, Mets and overall baseball fans? Welcome back to the channel. And folks, we have breaking news that has come out right around over the past hour or so at the time of recording this from Michael Mayer. Mets Memorize tweets the following: that yes, the Mets have signed Dylan Bundy, starting pitcher, to a minor league deal. So that's what we'll be breaking down the nitty and gritty in today's video. And if you're wondering, Dylan Bundy, Wardy, we're really talking about a minor league starting pitching deal? Yes, we absolutely are, because this could be far more great than maybe you initially realized with the importance it has to the Mets and their quality starting pitching depth. But before I get into it all I ask is if you're new or a recurring viewer on the channel, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. It's greatly appreciated. And if you guys like post-game shows, we are the #1 Mets post-game show all year round. A big year for us coming on the channel, so make sure to smash those buttons again. Greatly appreciated, and thank you all for your endless support. But now let's get into Dylan Bundy and breaking him down, right? Because he is a veteran starting pitcher at 30 years of age in the game. He was initially a top draft pick from the Baltimore Orioles back in 2011, in which he was managed for multiple years by, yes, you guessed it, Buck Showalter. Afterwards, he would go on to the LA Angels, in which he was actually acquired by Bleav during his time as GM for the Angels, and now most recently he was with the Minnesota Twins. As you see from his stat line down below, in 140 innings last year, just under 30 starts, of north of a 5-year ERA, just under, but an expected ERA of 4.34. He was one of the best starting pitchers in availability of 140 innings at least last year, and the top 10 of walks per 9 at 1.80, commands the zone great, was in the 90th percentile and chase rate as well, so he gets a lot of chase, a lot of swing and miss, and has a right around a 6 or so K per 9 and walk per 9 around 1.8, as I mentioned. Again, nothing flashy about him. He is an innings eater. He is a career 4.5 ERA starting pitcher, and if you're wondering why exactly we're talking about him today, it's because that this is unbelievably quality depth. This is not an Eichhoff. This is not a Yamamoto. Not to slight these guys, but back at that 2021 Mets team, you looked at the starting pitching depth they had then. I mean, it's a 9-day difference now. Dylan Bundy comes in as the Mets' #7 starter. Even after the Jose Quintana injury, you have JV, Max, Senga, Cookie Carrasco, David Pearson, Tyler McGill. Then you get to Dylan Bundy, a guy who I'm honestly surprised didn't sign with a team sooner. I'm really taken back that he signed a minor league deal with the Mets here to basically be in whatever role they need him to be as an innings eater, maybe either starting the year in AAA as a starter to have that quality depth and bring him up if injuries inevitably happen, or a situation where he could be the Trevor Williams 2.0 of this team. I mean, why couldn't he be? He's handled those relief outings in the past, especially during his time under Buck Showalter, in which they have a great rapport with each other, obviously. But now coming into this Mets spot, going from being an every fifth day starter for basically the past decade of his career, now coming into unknown with the Mets, this could be exactly what he needs for his career to maybe refine himself, find some more things in his game that he hasn't tapped in yet. And for the Mets here, they get a quality starting pitcher as their #7. When I mean quality, I know he's not great, but I'm talking quality in the sense of how deep this Mets rotation already is. Now losing Quintana with Cookie Carrasco, who knows if he's really going to start every fifth day. Kodai Senga really already dealing with the slight finger tendonitis, not accustomed to pitching every 5 days versus him just pitching once a week in the MPB, and the head of your rotation at 40 years of age piece. Basically, it's always good to have quality starting pitching depth, because Bundy's someone that could come in and potentially outperform. Not that I wish it or want it, but he could outperform a McGill or a Peterson at time. It wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world. And with Peterson not known for going deep into games as is right now until proven otherwise, with McGill still trying to find himself, assuming as a #6 star, either starting the year in AAA or the Mets want to use him as a long reliever, and I kind of doubt that they'd want to do that right now because McGill has looked sharper as a starter early in his career. Now you bring Bundy into the fold, and he can be utilized in any which way that you want to put him. And at a 1-year minor league deal, when he's easily a 4 or a 5 on a lot of rotations in baseball right now, this is such an easy W for the Mets signing-wise. I don't see how you could view it anything otherwise, knowing that you're bringing quality depth that you can never have enough of, because yes, injuries are inevitable. Now, when we get into his arsenal a little bit, get nothing crazy. As a 5-pitch mix led by the 4-seam fastball, averaging around 90 miles per hour. Then you get into the 80-mile-per-hour slider on average, the changeup 81, the curveball, which I like a lot from him, at around 72 miles per hour, and the sinker, which he only threw 7% of his arsenal last year, right around 90 miles per hour. So you have that 5-pitch mix with Dylan Bundy, and Jeremy Heffer getting his hands on him. Maybe he can work with his arsenal a little bit and see what is his best put-out pitches, because again, he's great with not a allowing walks, it's been that home run ball, which has been the issue in recent years for Dylan Bundy. So he's going to be a really interesting name for the Mets to watch this year to see what type of impact, if at all, he's going to have on this team. But once more, when you already have 6 starters ahead of him on paper, when this guy has just pitched basically 30 games last year as a starter for Minnesota, how do you go wrong if you are in the Mets' shoes right now? This is exactly the type of depth that they should have had in previous years when the injuries were far worse than what they are right now at the time of recording this. So I'm glad that they're finally getting ahead of this, if you will. And then once Quintana is eventually back, hopefully, in the second half of the season or so, coming back from his lesion and the stress fracture in his rib, when that happens, maybe you just keep Bundy in AAA. Maybe you part with him. Maybe you trade him. You're going to have interesting options, but all I know is that Dylan Bundy, as your number 7 starter, or potentially Trevor Williams 2.0, because Trevor Williams was not a strong starter at all when he was dealt from the Cubs to the Mets. Maybe the Mets will find some untapped potential for him in that type of reliever role, eating multiple innings, even maybe after a David Pearson type start, after a Cookie start, just after any start, where guys aren't going more than 4 or 5 innings, eat 2 or 3 innings, maybe. Who knows? I like this move a lot more than maybe you initially expect for the quality of it, meaning that it's a guy that isn't going to be in your rotation to start the year, but just depth is the most important thing, not only for the Mets, but for every single team out there trying to compete for a championship this year. So for all those reasons, that's why I like this move. And staying on the depth side of things, we go over to the bullpen. Tommy Hunter has officially cracked the Mets bullpen today, according to the Mets. Very happy for Tommy. Pitched 6 scoreless innings in spring this year, was really strong with the Mets as a reliever when called upon last year. We love Tommy Hunter, a great personality, great guy, but overall a very sneaky reliever that constantly gives you quality innings and gets you easy outs. So for those reasons, happy to have Tommy back in the pen. We'll see how the rest of the bullpen and this roster as a whole shakes up if Bundy does in fact start the year in AAA as a starter, or if he somehow, someway cracks the roster to start the year as a long reliever. I'm not sure, but we'll soon find out. Until then, Mets fans, I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about the Metropolitans picking up Dylan Bundy on a minor league deal? Do you like this move? If you don't like this move, especially if you don't like it, you got to let me know why, because I would feel that is a head scratcher given what we just broke down in the past 7 minutes of this video. But whatever your thoughts are, let me know down below. And again, Mets fans, if you enjoy consistent quality Mets content, podcasts after every series, recapping, previewing the upcoming series, post-game shows after every single game for the most part, quality post-game shows, taking live callers, having special guests, and everything in between, covering this Mets team throughout a 162, this is the place to be. Thank you so much for your endless support, and I'm excited to talk to you again real soon. Let's go Mets, baby. Peace out.